The NBA is back. The basketball season is back upon us. Started last night and the Chicago Bulls played tonight. I'm going to get right into that and a few other bits straight after this.
It's time to see red.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to another See Red UK Chicago Bulls chat where sleep is optional, but loving the Bulls isn't. And unfortunately, sleep is no longer an option for me, at least for 82 of the nights running up in the coming months, because the Bulls are back. And of course, I will be staying up for every single game live. I'm your host, Neill, and the NBA season, like I say, has finally hit us. It has arrived, it is here, and once again, it has arrived with a bit of a bang in regards to the Chicago Bulls and injury woes. Yes, unfortunately, we have some injury problems starting into the season, which is pretty standard for the Bulls at this stage. And the way it's been delivered is also, unfortunately, something that is standard for the Chicago Bulls too. So first of all, we know Coby White was injured. He was injured during preseason. We were kind of led to believe that there was a possibility that he might be able to play in one of the preseason games. That didn't materialise, but then we were expecting him to play for the season opener. He was ramping up for that. That was what we were expecting to see. But now the Bulls dropped the post, and they're saying that he will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Now, a bit of a body blow, that one, because that's not what we were expecting to hear. Plus, reevaluated in 2 weeks says to me that that we won't see him in 2 weeks. He's only been reevaluated. So it normally leads to the fact that they've been shut down. So if he's being reevaluated in 2 weeks, he has been shut down. However, Billy Donovan has come out and said that he is working the weight room. So he is still working on his conditioning and his weights that way. However, he's not running the floor in scrimmages or running drills in training camp, so therefore they will have to ramp him back up again after that 2 weeks, even if he gets the green light at that point. So I'd say we're looking at the usual standard 4 to 6 weeks for Coby White, which is obviously a massive blow, especially as you could see in preseason, we were lacking in the scoring department, and Coby White is our main go-to guy. So I am expecting to hear more along the lines about Coby, but at the moment, I would say temper your expectations in regards to when you see him return. I think we will definitely be looking at least 4 weeks plus. The other injury that we need to worry about is Zach Collins. He had wrist surgery and will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So again, we're looking at least 4 weeks before we see the return of Zach Collins. I'd say closer to 6 to 8 weeks before we see him come back. But that's unfortunately the injury that he is holding. Which happened in the Minnesota Timberwolves game from taking that charge. You could see he kind of landed quite heavy. And even though he tried to continue, it seems that this injury was giving him more trouble. And they once they analysed it, they discovered that he actually required surgery on it. So best of luck to Zach Collins, and hopefully that will be a speedy recovery and we'll see him on the floor soon. He was expected to be our backup centre behind Vucevic. I do apologise for my voice. I'm carrying a bit of a chest thing going on. So Zach will obviously not be that backup centre to Vooch now. So we'll be looking at Jalen Smith. But it's a pity because Zach was really having a good preseason. But look, it is what it is. We'll see how it all pans out. A couple of other injuries that apparently are not as serious. P. Will has still been practicing, but he has a nagging injury in the groin. So unfortunately, he's carrying that. Whether it'll impact his game, whether it'll impact whether or not he plays, I think will be a game time decision or a late scratch. So we'll see how that pans out. And Io is much the same. He's carrying a thumb injury. We saw him wearing the support towards the back end of preseason. And he seems to be carrying that as well. So hopefully these aren't too serious and they don't prevent play. They may create a reduced minute situation. But to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to see P. Will get huge minutes until he earns them a bit more yet. Anyway, Io, on the other hand, is a little bit different. But we do have quite a deep bench. So hopefully we'll be able to plug the gaps until they're fully fit. The big one, though, is my guy, Yuki Kawamura, who I was absolutely loving to see play in preseason and in Summer League. And unfortunately, he has incurred a medical injury in his lower right leg, which to me sounds something along the lines of a blood clot, which, we all know is a very serious situation for any player. And he is out for the season, and as a result has been waived by the Chicago Bulls. So I really do wish him all the very best. I was really excited to see Yuki. I know he wasn't going to get too much in the way of minutes, but it would have really brought me down towards watch as much of the Windy City Bulls as I possibly could have. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for him now. I really do wish him all the very best. The good news is, though, he seems to be continuing to have access to Bulls medical staff and Bulls facilities. He has been down there with the guys. So what I'm hoping is this thing gets resolved, and we may very well see Yuki back on the Bulls maybe next year. And if we do, I'm looking forward to it. So in that time, after Yuki was announced as being waived, the Bulls decided to go off and sign NBA slam dunk champion, multiple slam dunk champion, Mac McClung. He's been a Bull before. I think he played 2 minutes in one game. But he came back to the Chicago Bulls, and there was a little bit of a buzz. Oh, it's going to be high flying. It's going to be exciting. And then they waived him 3 hours later. So Mac McClung has been signed and waived by the Chicago Bulls. I'm expecting this to lead to him playing for the Windy City Bulls. I do expect him to get picked up there, and we'll get to see him playing in the G League maybe. So then after that, the Bulls plugged that Yuki gap, and signed Trenton Flowers on a two-way. Now, Trenton Flowers, for those of you who don't know, you can find out a little bit about him by going to our guy Troy and listening to a whole lot of NBL, where he does the Australian basketball. I think he done a piece on Trenton Flowers there, or it might have been on his Whole Lot of Bull channel, but he definitely talks about Trenton Flowers being an Adelaide 36ers fan himself. And the Aussies seem to be taking over in Chicago. We've got Lachlan Olbrich already here, Josh Giddey, of course, and now Trenton Flowers. So it's becoming a very Australian-laden team, which, look, that could create great chemistry. Who knows? So I don't know a whole lot about Trenton Flowers other than what I've heard from Troy, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. So the big news, of course, is that today is game day, and we play Chicago Bulls basketball tonight at the UC against the Detroit Pistons. So there's a few points that I'm going to be looking out for in the game tonight, and a few things to talk about. And the first thing I want to see is I want to see the emergence of Matas continue from pre-season into the regular season. And I have very little doubt that it's going to happen. This is going to be Matas Buzelis' year. You wait and see. I mean, this guy it's been electrifying. For anyone who hasn't been keeping up, for anyone that hasn't been watching the preseason stuff, Matas Buzelis is going to take a leap this year, guys. He's going to go from what we had out of him last year towards the back end of the season, which was exciting and it was fun, to taking on a much bigger role with the Chicago Bulls now. He's coming in as a starter. He has this confidence about him. He's already stated in a press release that he wants to be the MIP. So if he's going for most improved, then we're going to have to see an awful lot out of him, because unless the Chicago Bulls are winning, I don't think he's going to win the award. So that means he has to start producing some winning basketball. And I believe this guy, if anybody can do it, he can do it. So keep your eyes peeled for Matas. He's going to be fun to watch. Trey Jones as well. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how he does. I'm expecting him to step into the role of Kobe White. I think he could get the start. I mean, it's either going to be him or Io. It could go either way, to be honest, but I would like to kind of see Io maybe coming up off the bench and picking up the slack if there is any. But Trey Jones has been brilliant for the Chicago Bulls during preseason as well. He's looking to have been a really clever pickup, making the move to hold on to him. Was really good. I know we kind of lost track of how impactful he was towards the back end of the season last year because he picked up the injury. But he's back, he's looking good, and I think he's going to be one to watch. And of course, the player that a lot of people are going to be waiting to see, whether it's to criticise, to knock him down, or to watch him and see him prove the haters wrong, and that's Josh Giddey. Now, Josh Giddey has really, really impressed me more and more. The more I see him play, the more I hear people putting him down, the more it makes me want to see him do well. So there's a real divide amongst Bulls Nation for Josh at the moment, and I can't wait till it gets to a point where everybody in Bulls Nation starts to love this guy, because he is an unbelievable playmaker. Yes, he needs a little bit of work here and there, but Josh Giddey has worked on his shooting. He's definitely worked on attacking the rim and getting to the line, and he can facilitate, passing the ball to Madas. If you watched any of the preseason, there was some fantastic fast breaks and transition basketball created off the back of Josh Giddey to Madas Buzelis. It's going to be fun to watch. Keep an eye on these guys. They're really becoming a thing. The Madas-Josh thing is really beginning to become a real thing. It's going to be a threat and a problem for some of these teams that are underestimating the Chicago Bulls going into this season. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is a slightly negative one, and that is that one of our main starting five players and our veteran of the team, Nikola Vucevic, he really didn't impress that much in preseason. He looked lethargic, disinterested, lazy at times, certainly didn't seem to be on his game. But look, he's a vet. He's the older end of this team. He's the oldest player by a while. And I genuinely think he was just taking it easy. I mean, in game 5, without trying too hard, he got his double-double. I think that was just a little nod, just a little bit of a, yeah, see guys, I can do this. I can still do this. Don't worry, I've got it. And he was just coasting a little bit for the preseason. First 5 to 10 games should really let us know whether Vooch is a real major concern, if he is something to worry about, excuse me, or whether or not he is just as locked in as he ever was. I mean, he came off the back having an absolutely fantastic season last year. He had a good campaign in Euro League basket. So, look, we'll wait and see on Vooch. The jury's out. So, my prediction for the starting 5 tonight, I think it's going to be Trey Jones, Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter, Madas Buzelis, and Nikola Vucevic. I don't see Okoro getting the start over Huerter just yet. I don't think P. Will has proved enough to get it either. We need a bit more of a shooting impact, especially having lost Kobe White. So I think Huerter's going to get the nod as a result of that. And I think that's a pretty solid starting 5 considering we have injuries. And going up against these Pistons now, they have no Jaden Ivey off the back of his shoulder surgery that he sustained back in January. He had successfully come out of the surgery and recovered from that, and then they've suffered a setback with a knee injury that follows on from that. So he's expected to miss some time. I would think that Asar Thompson will probably continue to fill his role. And with players such as Isaiah Stewart, Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, Jalen Duren, Duncan Robertson, and of course, ex-Bull Javonte Green, this could prove to be a challenging first matchup tonight. But it's also one that if we could make a statement win at home, I think it's a great way to kick off the campaign. So I'll be looking out for that. I'll be on the Discord live. Do follow along on that. If you're not a member, hit me up. I'll get you on, and we can work ahead and enjoy the game together. So a few other little things before I wrap up. First one is Bulls Without Borders. If for anyone that hasn't been following along, it's a super panel, if you like, of Chicago Bulls content creators. The most recent one was out there on Friday with Jamal Aflatooni from Bull Central, YT, and there's Troy, who I mentioned earlier, and Phil from Just Another Year, Chicago Bulls, and myself. We're just talking a little bit about some of our concerns and some of the things that we're thinking about and looking forward to with the coming season. So do go and check that out. We're going to be doing that bi-weekly. It does also include Hayes from Chicago Bulls Central, and we will hopefully be getting the odd visit from Miss Melissa as well. So Queen of Bulls. Okay, so go check that out. I'm also going to now go over quickly the predictions. The predictions went out there, and so I'm going to talk about them now.
See Red UK season predictions.
I put a poll out there on Twitter, and I put a poll out there on the Discord for our usual predictions that we do traditionally here on C Red UK. I've done it a little bit differently than we've done it before because, you know, I'm on my own now, so I had to make it a little bit more simple to fit around my way of figuring it out. I don't quite have the same level of talents for those things that Matt had. He used to look after that sort of stuff. So anyway, I did the best I could, Matt. I hope I did you proud. But so the results went out, 4 categories: most improved player, leader, unsung hero, and most valuable player. Now, leader was a new one. It's like, who do you think will take on the mantle of being the leader for the Chicago Bulls team throughout the course of the season? Because we kind of need a leader, and we need to have someone who will take the bull by the horns, if you pardon the pun. So anyway, the vote went out across the 2. I took all the votes together and I added them all up, and I took the winners then from each category from across the 2 channels. So first one then, MIP. The vote came in with a huge majority win for Maras Buzelis. So obviously there's a lot of people out there that are believing his words that he is going to be the MIP this season, and that therefore that would automatically make him the Chicago Bulls MIP as well, right? So yeah, but as far as the Bulls go, MIP for this season, Maras Buzelis has got the nod. And I have to say that I am 100% behind you. I expect to see him make that leap. Even if he doesn't win the MIP for the NBA, I certainly think he's going to be the guy for the Chicago Bulls. The leader category then, and this one was pretty much a runaway as well. Kobe White is the one that got the win. Kobe White was voted in as the expected leader for this team. Now, I suppose this all depends on what happens with this injury. There is certainly concern there. So Kobe White is expected to be the leader of this team, and I can kind of get that. I can get behind that as well. I think I would give Kobe White my vote on that one too. As for Unsung Hero, this one was a little bit of a more controversial one. It was certainly the most even-keeled one in regards to voting. But thanks to the Twitter votes, more so than the Discord votes, Dale and Terry, with 10 votes in total, took the controversial vote for being Unsung Hero. And, you know, I can see how it could be several people for this, the Unsung Hero. And I think Dale and Terry could get it. For me, it was between Dale and Terry and Julian Phillips. But depending on how much people are hating on Josh Giddey, he could almost be put in this category too. But according to your votes, Dale and Terry is the one that is put out there for Unsung Hero. Now, for any of you that aren't sure exactly what the Unsung Hero is, it's kind of the guy that goes under the radar, does all the things that are needed, the dirty work, you know. And I think maybe there's a bit of recency bias gone into that for Dale and Terry, where he got into it a little bit in one of the games during the preseason, you know, people like that. So maybe that's what that is. So the final one, and this is the big vote, of course. This is the major one, the most valuable player, the MVP. And the guy that got the vote, and this was a pretty good majority as well, across both platforms, and that's Maras Buzelis. So not only is he expected to be MIP for the Bulls, he's expected to be MVP for the Bulls. So receipts are taken. We have the votes in, and I will be looking back at this midway through the season and at the end of the season, and we'll find out whether or not this was accurate, whether we got it right, did we get it wrong? Did some people get it right and they can turn around to the people that got it wrong and say, see, told you. Either way. Until next time, thanks for watching. Let me know down below. Did we get it right? Do you agree? Do you disagree with anything I've said? Start a conversation. We have Bulls basketball. We're back, baby. Thanks for watching. See red, bleed red. Go Bulls.